And here we are. All right, it's time for season 2. Now, listen, and on full disclosure, we have seen season 2 like thousands and thousands
Many
of
times.
times over the years. So this is not like a new thing for us. We're just gonna reminisce, and we're gonna shoot the shit about all the great things that happened here in the first half of season 2.
Right.
First of all, right off the bat, I think the coolest thing was that the tone changed. Don't you think, from season 1?
Definitely did.
Yeah. Season 1, I said in our last video, I think season 1 was a little slanted more towards comedy than the drama or the action or any kind of storytelling. Here, it's totally different, right?
Totally. Well, it starts to move in a little bit more dramatic fashion, but it does not leave all of the comedy behind either.
Now, but I think the comedy does drop down a little bit. We see
Mhm.
this right off the bat in the first episode, which is Mercy Part 2. Mercy Part 2, continuing
They
what
come up
happened.
with great titles for every episode, too.
Yeah, they really do. Well, except a little bit later. There's a couple that are kind of stupid. Lull, remember that? At the end?
Oh, yeah.
So not always. Let's take that back. Maybe we'll fix this in editing. Okay, so Mercy Part 2. Right off the bat, the tone is way more serious. Also, right off the bat, now we've really got Kreese for the first time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Before, throughout season 1, we got these little like a picture of him and then a flashback of him and another picture of him, and then finally at the end he says a couple of quick things. Now he's really here. And I love that. And
Right.
this was surprising to me because when I was a young boy, another karate master once told me that John Kreese was dead. He came to my karate dojo and he told me that.
Is
And
that right?
yeah, I'm not making this up. I mean, he came and he told me. I was there with my sensei, and he was just telling us that like John Kreese is dead. And I thought, my God, he's dead. And I said,
Yeah.
well, I'm
Well,
sorry.
how did you react to that?
Well, I was stunned. And then I later took karate lessons from the very guy that told me
What?
about this. Yes,
You didn't.
yeah. Listen, if a man can't stand, he can't fight. Okay, and I think that's important to remember here. Now, I'm bullshitting as usual, but so the tone got a lot more serious, and I really liked just reveling in that first fight that Johnny has with Kreese, and just taking in the fact that Kreese is no longer a ghost or just a photo. He's a full blown cast member now.
Yeah.
That makes me feel really good.
Yeah, now we're getting into it.
Absolutely. So that was really good. The first couple episodes had a lot to do with Kreese. After Mercy Part 2, we got into Back in Black. Another change that became kind of obvious, though, to me by around episode 2 or 3 is that Miguel is no longer the main or one of the absolute main characters. Do you agree?
Yeah.
He's kind of relegated to an important character, but not necessarily in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, and I kind of like the surprise that way.
Kind of did too. I don't think Zolo loved it. Hey, listen, you're doing well. People love your show. You're the main guy. Everybody loves you. Great. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull you back a lot. We're going to pull you back several characters and then put you in a coma. What? You know what I mean? The kid's probably furious. Anyway, so that's not really cool. But anyway, I think that was good to pull him back. I think they were getting new characters and it was time to do that with him. So season 1 was about him. Now, not so much. Episode 2. We've got so much going on here in Back in Black. We had the rock and roll aesthetic.
Yeah.
We saw the cement mixing. We found out we already knew Robbie Keane was Sensei's son, but the guys found out, I believe, in
They
this
figured it
episode.
out.
Yeah, so they got to the bottom of that. Also, Cutter. We finally get to see Cutter. You know, who was probably my favorite character on the show.
Cutter.
Cutter. Yeah, you know Cutter. He shows up with the cement mixing thing.
Oh, yes. Well, of course.
And he says, we get any
pivotal.
trouble, it's on you. He's
Yeah.
very important to me. So I'm really glad that we got to know more about Cutter. And of course, Rick finally got some screen time. Rick, I don't know how we were getting by without Rick these first 11 episodes of the series. But now finally we meet Rick. We know who Shannon's involved with for this weekend. And that was really important to me as well.
Yeah, you're pulling out all of the really important pivotal characters.
Well, you have
this
theories
season.
where they're going. I think ultimately Rick and Cutter end up being two of the biggest focuses. They become the new villains. And I think eventually, no, I'm bullshitting. All right, episode 3 though, Fire and Ice. Let's talk about Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
What do you think? Did Johnny go too far? Did Daniel go too far? Did no one go too far?
At the Valley Fest?
The whole episode, a lot of crazy shit happened. There was Valley Fest. There was Daniel doing the commercial. Johnny, I gotta love how Johnny
Well, they
discovered the internet. That was my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the bomb. Yeah. I think they took turns in going too far.
Okay, I think that's
Yeah.
how most people would see it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Daniel went a little too far with that snake in the grass comment and the commercial.
Yeah.
Think about Johnny. Johnny's already tired of everywhere he looks. he's got either TV, radio, movie, something is involving Daniel
Mm-hmm.
and LaRusso Auto and billboards, everything.
Yeah.
But now it's even right when he discovers the internet. The second he discovers the internet, he's like, these damn ads, and there's
no
LaRusso,
safe place.
and and not only that was the ad not only actually used footage of Daniel kicking Johnny in the face from that tournament.
Mhm.
I don't know how they got that, but not only did Daniel have that footage worked into the commercial, but then he says, "Don't be a snake in the grass." Like that was pretty rough. But then again, to be fair, Johnny did draw a dick on his face. So as long as Johnny's drawing dicks on his face, I think there's no going too far.
You love that.
I think that's so funny the way Daniel keeps bringing that up. That is the funniest shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, this episode I thought was really good. Kind of wanted to see some ice get broken.
Yeah.
Didn't get to happen that way. So we just thought melt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So good, good, but it would have been cool to see that. And I gotta admit, when Johnny says in his own commercial, when he says, enough of that boring meditation pansy bullshit, I kind of see where he's coming from, because when Miyagi when Miyagi Do did their thing at at Valley Fest, wasn't it kind of boring?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right, I was bored. I mean, it was kind of mystical, and the music's doing its thing, and he's swinging around those fucking things, but I didn't really care. I didn't, and then Cobra Kai shows up, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. That was kick ass.
Yeah, so you gotta make a point there. I think that episode kind of made a point that, like, what Daniel's got going on is not necessarily that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What Johnny's got going on is interesting, and he's the cool kid again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wicked episode. Yeah. So let's talk about episode 4 for a little bit, because this is when things get, to me, more important.
Yeah.
The first 3 were a lot of setup to me. Yeah, I think they were just setting the stage for the rest of the episodes. Episode 4, though, the moment of truth. It's called the moment of truth.
Mm-hmm.
Things get different. This is where we already met Raymond earlier, but he was just kind of a jokey character. I don't think we knew he was going to be joining Cobra Kai. Moment of truth is where Raymond actually joins Cobra Kai.
Yes.
And we meet Tori as well.
With a Y.
Well, that's to be determined how to spell her name. I don't think we're ever going to really know exactly how she prefers the spelling
Except if she
to be.
point blank tells you.
Well, I mean, there's hints at that, but I don't think it's like outwardly said. So.
Okay, I'll be waiting in earnest.
We'll just try to keep figuring out. And not just that, but not only did we meet Tori with a Y, thank you very much, but Tori with a Y met someone else who was pretty fucking important. She met Miguel.
Yeah.
They had their first flirtation over, beating the shit out of each other. And then she met Sam. And remember, that was that episode too. And things got ugly there.
Yes. The rivalry began instantaneously.
Yeah, that wasn't good, but at least nobody said anything. Snitches get stitches, I have stitches. Fucking Dimitri. We get to see Dimitri also, kind of like Raymond. Instead of just being kind of the guy with the funny one-liners, we really get to see him interacting. Like, he met Kreese in this episode.
Yeah,
that was unique.
Yes.
He walks in, he just does this whole monologue about how the other guy's a dick, and little does he know he's talking to, like, the most villainous human being that he'll ever meet. Oh, no, because he's going to meet Terry Silver, and Terry might be worse.
Yeah, well, the most villainous person he's met thus far.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, so let's talk about Tori with a Y and Sam. Who is at fault here? I mean, I covered this in a video like 3 years ago, but who's at fault?
Are you talking specifically about the...
Let's talk about just this fight in this episode. Yeah, not their whole rivalry forever. When they met... And someone ended up getting food all over her, and someone did not. Who was at fault here?
Sam. Oh, totally Sam.
She's a LaRusso.
Yeah, she sure
can't
was.
Let's go over this, everybody. This is important. Just because someone says they're stealing some silverware from a place I don't think it gives you the right to accuse them of now every wrongdoing that's taken place around there. There's a lot of crime at that beach club.
Clearly.
Yes. Robbie's old friends are still... I love that
they're still looting the place.
Yeah, there's still criminals in that same place all these months later, still doing that shit. That's hilarious. So did Sam get what she deserved? Did she get more than she deserved? Did Tori overreact? What's the story?
Well, I mean, Tori's being Tori, so but Sam definitely was pushing all of the wrong buttons, unbeknownst to her, and was clearly in the wrong.
Yeah, I also don't. I think it was reflex when Tori like kicked her over the, over the. She didn't because even Tori was shocked. She didn't mean to create all that fucking
I don't think she meant for what happened to happen. Like Sam crashing into a table and ending up with an entire buffet's worth of food all over her. That wasn't what Tori intended, but that's what happened.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the episode in a while, there was a big, like a mousse, like a chocolate mousse that ended up mostly on Sam's forehead and arms. Um, and if you like other desserts too, there was also something to do with strawberries, I believe, but it was maybe chocolate covered as well. That also got, I think, on her shoulders. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it could be.
Her legs were covered in some sort of, it got really ugly. She was covered in so much food. She looked like a jackass.
Yeah.
And what a throwback that was to when Daniel gets the spaghetti thrown on him, right? It was so similar.
Yes. At the same club, right?
I don't know, because they were at the beach club now. I don't think, was that a beach club in the other
Oh,
movie?
no. They were they were at the country club.
Yeah,
Maybe
country.
Encino Oaks.
Yeah, Encino. All right, we can keep track of all this
Yeah,
shit in
whatever.
this universe. I like these few episodes here, these first four. Miguel is increasingly suspicious of Kreese.
Mhm.
I think that's really cool too about these first few. Well, the whole season really, but Miguel's never fallen for Kreese's shit.
Right.
You know, he's always kind of sniffing him out.
Yep.
He's trying to like him because Johnny says to, but then
Mm-hmm.
again, he's not. Like he's come such a long way since season one.
Yes.
Season one, he was so
naive.
yeah, just incredibly naive, and now
Yeah.
he's incredibly bright. That's what happens when you learn karate.
Yeah.
You become
From Johnny.
from Johnny. You become incredibly brilliant. You start figuring things out. So yeah, Tori with a Y, kicking Sam over that whole thing. That was great. Hey, how about we finally see Daniel in like a real full blown fight
Right.
on the show, right? And with a big guy too. We've never seen Daniel like really fight a big guy.
Yeah.
But that was cool. Daniel whipped those guys' asses on
Mhm.
video. The fight scenes with Machio, not terribly good.
Mm-hmm.
They could use better editing. He needs to stretch. You know, he really does. He needs to stretch. Even when he kicked that thing out of Tom Cole's hand, the boba.
Yeah.
You kick a hot coffee out of Tom Cole. No, it was a boba. It wasn't like that. It was a boba. Even when he did that kick really looked bad. This fight looked bad. I didn't care. I was just glad that we had adult Daniel using some karate for a change.
Yes.
Not in a fucking tournament. Let's talk briefly about episode 5, the last one we can talk about here. Oh my God, what a great episode. The Miyagi-Do gets trashed, right? And I think I know who stole the Medal of Honor. I think it was Hawk.
You think?
I think so. I've kind of put 2 and 2 together here.
You
and
are
then,
so brilliant.
Well, I'm getting to the bottom of things. What the fuck? You got when that place gets trashed, you got to give it to Machio. He might not be able to do fight scenes, but he was such a good actor. When he like almost started crying a couple times, he was torn up over the Medal of Honor. Gets in his car, drives. That was great. That was a great way to wrap up the first half.
Yeah.
You know, as if there was like a side A, side B of the season. Like this is a nice way to wrap up side A. I absolutely loved it. I don't think there could have been a better ending than Daniel showing up. Once again, this is his 4th visit. You realize this?
Mm-hmm.
In 1.5 seasons, Daniel has gone 4 times to either the dojo or the convenience store next door.
Right. Doesn't this make him the instigator so far in much of this series?
I just think it's hilarious that he keeps feeling well, in this case, he was right though. He had to show up.
Well, this required a response.
Yeah, this really did finally require a big response. And this is also after the whole fire and ice thing, which Johnny probably went. I think there he probably did go farther than he.
No, I don't think so. I think it was appropriate.
Well, I don't know. We can debate that for a while. You guys, let us
Team
know in
Johnny.
the comments what you think. By the way, if you're enjoying this video for some reason, click like. It helps us in the algorithm. It makes me feel like kind of like what we're doing is sort of cool. And if you hate this, click dislike because no one will ever see it. That's how YouTube works. Anyway, we got a minute left. Dimitri,
My favorite character.
right?
Yeah.
Dimitri's a good time. Let's laugh about him for a little bit. The Yelp review was fantastic.
His journalistic integrity.
That was the greatest. He had journalistic integrity about this. He took himself so seriously. How about the mall fight with Dimitri?
Awesome.
Harkening back to Daniel's in the Halloween dance.
Yeah.
When they played the same music.
Mm-hmm.
He's running through the mall. Daniel ran outside. It was very similar. I thought that was fucking great. The mall fight itself was great too because we got to develop a little bit more of the hatred between Hawk and Robbie. And once again, Robbie beat Hawk.
Yeah, Hawk loses a lot.
Yeah, Hawk does lose a lot. He's just like Kreese. I'll tell you, my favorite quote from these first 5 episodes, my absolute favorite quote
Yeah.
from my favorite moment when Daniel shows up at the, going back to that, when Daniel shows up at the, at Johnny's dojo.
Mm-hmm.
When it ends with Daniel poaching his students, then he says, I'm not going to strike first.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Oh, that was, he really put Johnny in his place on that one. Point LaRusso. All right, we'll see you guys next time.